Marcus?
He just went to the restroom.
Oh, okay. Well, then we don't go to Marcus. Okay, we have the summons and complaint for number 47A, since the city attorney, assistant city attorney just walked in. Summons and complaint for number 47A on the agenda. Has everybody read the complaint?
Yes.
So I know about it? And voting tonight is just to send it? Or we didn't send it already?
She was
Okay.
served on January
That's
31st to her residence that's listed. Mom accepted service at that time and made some comments to our process server, but she should be aware.
So do we call her in?
She's just been called in.
She's supposed to be, this is the
That's
summons.
what this, okay, is she here? Is Melissa Byer here? Let's see.
Apparently not.
Okay, so we just,
Our ordinance says that if somebody does not appear, if they're properly served, that we can take their complaint as true.
okay, and vote on it as such.
As such, you can vote on it today, you can set another date out to have a sentencing, you can proceed how you see fit.
Does anybody have any comments on this?
Mr. Chair.
Alderman May?
Normally, when this sort of thing is before us, we may go into closed session, have a discussion about it. Would that be occurring this, I don't see an agenda for that.
Correct. Generally, what happens on these first summons dates is the person would effectively enter a plea. And so
That's right.
Somebody would show up and say, admit, deny, or in this case, I was going to give additional option, not that she wouldn't have had the option anyways, but inform her that she could effectively plead the fifth, because the allegations are potentially criminal in nature. Those would be your three options. Because she's not here today, there is not a closed session notice on this, so we can't go into closed session on this item. You could set it off to deliberate and get a notice on there, but not today.
Mr. Chair, continuing on, in reading it, we told the individual in the summons and complaint that if they're not there today, it may be assumed, I think you said this previously, that that they agree to the facts if they don't appear.
Correct.
And we have not received any call from the individual.
No.
So, I always prefer to hear from an individual, but the individual is not shown. So what motions are not open, but are germane at this time?
The committee could, I guess the first process would be to have some consensus on the factual allegations in the complaint being taken as true, and then a motion could be made to suspend or revoke the license or take no action whatsoever.
Mr. Chair?
Or push it out to a date in the future so you can have put this back on the agenda to have a closed session discussion. I would not be the attorney there, I'm the prosecutor in this matter.
Reading through the allegations and having read the police report, I think, and the fact that the individual did not appear, given the facts and the notice to appear, I think we can reasonably assume that they are taking on the guilt of what was in the report and in the summons and complaint. And for that reason, I would move that we accept the summons and complaint and revoke the license for this individual.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Is there further discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Alderman Weigel?
I think in the past, most of these summons and complaints have been leveled against establishments. This is leveled against an individual, and I just want to understand that I think we're going to end up revoking this, essentially a bartending license. I'm curious, what does that mean long-term? Do they have to
Oh, the
wait?
1 year period, like
Is it a 1 year period they can come apply again? What's the rule on that?
I believe there's 1 year period, I think it applies the same way.
They could apply, this person could apply again in a year for a bartending license. We would have the ability to deny, do you believe, on cause?
If there is an
Unless
offense that's substantially related to the licensed activity,
And
I
they
would say
can't
this is-
demonstrate substantial rehabilitation?
yes.
Mr. Chair,
Okay. Yeah, okay.
do we physically go get this license? Because theoretically, this person could say, go to another bar They're not all watching this show tonight.
No, certainly. I'm not sure the process in terms of, I don't think the police department.
I think Steve knows.
You know?
No, a letter goes out to the applicant stating that the license is hereby revoked. We
Okay.
would notify the police department in that case too, and the
That's kind of what I was angling at.
establishment as well.
Okay. Okay, I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Okay, then we're gonna go back. Marcus Gorsick?
Yeah.
Come up.
Nice to see you guys again.
Okay, you have a business plan, you want a banquet hall?
Well, I will rent to people out, and my number one thing is for the local bands. I want to leave them for them. So every time when local bands want to perform, I will schedule for them, you know what I mean? Live music. And this is what my goal is, to have rock and country live music. Most of them I would love to get local bands. You know, some of them play in a basement and garages and stuff. I will give them my place. Play there, practice there, do whatever, you know what I mean? And that's what my goal is for local bands. And then, you know, that's my in place like, I think there is no many places in that area they have country, rock, disco, 80s, 90s music. There's no many.
Okay, and it says banquet, are you planning on serving food?
That's the thing. I don't have a kitchen yet, but what I talk with the Fine Brothers, you probably know Fine Brothers, you used to work for
Right.
them. So they have that convention oven, and I go there. That convention oven costs 10 grand. So all you need is prop table, you need a freezer and refrigerator. And that oven doesn't need hood, doesn't need anything, but you can do any kind of pre-cooked food, chicken wings, whatever you want, you know.
Yeah.
And all those companies sell pre-cooked food.
Right.
Yeah. So when I try that food, actually it's better than for the fryer. If I'm honest with you.
Well, you gotta get another license for that. I'm not,
Oh, I know,
I'm
but-
not positive. I'm not sure what the, as far as you said, there doesn't have to be a hood or anything. I don't know what the ordinance says on
It's
that.
just like a giant pizza oven. I mean, like a microwave oven, giant, you know. And you have to have prep table, and you have to have like a freezer and refrigerator. That's all you need to have.
Was there a food license on this also, or no? Just a liquor license?
Just the alcohol.
Yeah, but this is probably you know, because I have to need 15 grand for that. So I thought I'm gonna do like after I open, maybe in a
On the
3-4
road.
months, yeah, to do that, to add that thing.
Okay.
Because on the end of the bar, I see it's a space for that.
Okay, and you're familiar with the history of the bar that was brought
See,
up?
I understand concern about that, but see, there was nightclubs. You know what I mean? There was Thursday, Friday, Saturday DJ nightclubs. It's different. I'm gonna have and there was no country music inside. There was no rock music. There was nothing. There was all hip hop and dance. You know, nightclub. So that's why draw problems. I will say that my customer is gonna be probably 30 plus, because younger generation not gonna listen the music that I'm gonna play is gonna be classic rock, classic country, disco, 80s, 90s, you know what I mean? Bonnie Taylor and stuff like that. They, you know, so this is gonna be a club that there is nowhere around. It's gonna be for people that are like my age and older. Young guys not gonna go there, and I think that I can avoid that problems.
Right, okay.
The nightclub brings, you know what I mean? Look at District and downtown. You know what they do? They have to close the street when they let them out,
Right,
because all they play is a rap.
right. Does anybody else have anything?
Sure.
All in a row?
Should we be waiting to see if we're gonna go over quota on the public hearing?
That's what this is about.
That's it, it is.
I thought we were going for the license.
Well, this is a license app.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, over the quota we go last time,
Okay.
I think.
Let's get back to your country bar now.
Yeah.
Why so much security on weekends for a country bar?
Security?
Yeah, 4 people.
Well, I will, there is a back door. It's emergency exit for they need a guy. You know, I don't want somebody to open the door and let people in. So I need security guy in the back, by the then somebody in the front to check IDs, you know, and then me and probably somebody else just to help me there, because 3-4 guys, I think it's good enough, because I can't secure doors by myself. You know what I mean? There's an emergency door, somebody can open and let people in, you know. So I will say front door checking IDs, because you have to. You can't let people in if it's under a 21. So in a back door, people go emergency door, have to be open. I can't lock this door. So those 2 guys have to be there, and then me and another guy.
The lease was drafted by Mario?
Yeah, there was 4 years with the options to buy,
Okay.
because I want to buy that building, and Mario said he don't want to have nothing to do with that.
Okay. Alderman Haas?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. And what Alderman Chapletsky had mentioned on the council floor before is our law has changed to give us more control over licensed establishments. Nick, can you explain that a little bit further for us? Refresh this up for everybody also?
Certainly, there's 2 new amendments that were made to the ordinances. Back in 2019, it would look like there was 9.0212M A through F, which essentially are conditions that can be placed at the time of or prior to granting a license that would basically run with the license. And so if someone's not in compliance with those conditions, that would be grounds for revocation. The enumerated, I can go through them if the committee would want, but A through F, among other things, but we can talk about what those specifically would be.
Is there any conditions that we would want to put on?
I think that the main condition, and this is toward you, Nick, is we have your business plan here. If you don't follow the business plan, we can revoke that, just based on that. Is that a correct statement?
Is the licensee shall, or the license shall conduct a principal business on the premises particularly described by the common council. So I'd want you or the common council, the committee, to describe what you think that principal business should be, or what that's gonna be, or what that shouldn't or couldn't include.
And I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Mr.
Yeah,
Chair,
Alderman Mayor.
I got a couple of questions. On the layout of the bar, there's
Yeah.
2 pages. One shows a total square footage of 5,400 square feet, includes, okay, never mind, I just answered my own question. It does show open dance floor and space.
Yeah, and when you walk in, there's gonna be by the bathroom. It's because on a Thursday, I was trying to get that 95.7 80s, 90s disco radio station. I like to have broadcast from there on a Thursday night for the ladies' night, which is only disco 80s, 90s. I don't know if you listen, but this is a 95.7 great radio station.
I'm familiar, yeah.
Yeah, so this is Thursday. On Thursday, that's what I will have to do. But Friday, Saturday, and the rest of the day of the week, I would love to have like scheduled bands inside. That's my plan.
Okay, and on here, I'm looking at the summary from the clerk's office. It doesn't mention, oh, okay, this is whether it was approved. So you're asking for this to be a dance hall as well?
Well, it's not like a dance hall. It's I may have to have line dancing for country line dancing, and during the week, like some people, because I was in Nashville and Memphis, and I see those things. They have over 50 line dancing. They have over 30 line dancing, country. So I try to do some of those things inside during the week, bring some of those guys, and I think I can, but like I said, till you guys give me opportunity or give me a chance, I can't talk with anybody. You know what I mean? I can't promise anybody anything. So if you guys give me opportunity, that's what my plan is, to get country line dancing inside and then I'm gonna have pool tables inside, also, stuff like that for Sundays. But most of what I focus is on a local bands, rock, country.
Now, one of the things that I believe, Nick, on the list, because I remember when we approved this, one of the ideas in there was cameras, a camera system.
That's okay. Yeah.
Do you have a camera system?
Not yet, but
Is it part of your plan?
it is. Because I'm planning to get all the buildings, so I'm gonna move upstairs. And upstairs I've got 3 bedroom and living room,
I hope
kitchen.
you're not recording that.
No, but I'm gonna. The thing is that I'm gonna have for myself upstairs. You know what I mean? So I don't want have people upstairs. They complain about the loud music. You know what I mean? So I'm just gonna move upstairs. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the cameras outside, both sidewalks, to be taped inside.
And inside.
Inside. And
I'd like to have that reflected in the
Yeah,
plan.
and-
This
and-
has been a trouble area, and the cameras have come in handy
yeah, you know,
in
if you-
recent memory.
If you know the car dealership in a 70 and Lincoln Classic,
Yes.
they get just stolen some Cadillac, remember? So I live there, and the owner put inside. He put amazing camera system. They actually, when you go there, and if you're not employee, if you're not on a system, the alarm come out. So I like to do that. So whoever work there, it's okay to be in there after hours or whatever, but and they tape all the time, 24/7. Everything is on a tape.
Okay.
And Alderman May,
mind
just
if I
real
keep
real
going?
quickly on the subject of cameras, if we do have in writing here, presence of and location of security cameras, and it's what the gentleman is referring to, front
So he lists
bar
the
area,
areas.
it's in writing
Good.
here.
Yeah.
Good.
Oh, if it's gonna be a camera, a sidewalks, everything outside.
Can I ask
Go ahead.
a couple, or make a statement? There was a place in my district, the 3rd district, it's now Crawdaddy's. Before that, it
I heard
was,
about that, yeah.
Yesteryears, and can't recall what it was after that. But
Papa John's Pub.
Big Dogs, that was it. And I would get a complaint, no joke, every Saturday night. And every Saturday night, I'd go and sit with this gentleman on his porch, and we'd listen to the music emanating from the facility, and we'd call the cops. So I just want you to be aware, keep your doors shut, keep your windows shut. Don't let people loiter outside too long and get loud and rowdy, because there are neighbors nearby. The complaints will come in.
You know what is a good thing about that bar? The place the bands are behind, inside. So the bar area is outside, and then the place the band's gonna play, it's behind, it's inside. So it's have to go through the bar, that noise out.
Well,
And-
either way, I mean,
yeah.
this place had walls and it had doors and it had all that, and where they played, but it emanated through.
Oh, yeah,
So just do your
100%.
best,
I
be
understand, yeah.
cognizant of your neighbors.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Chair, on that point, and so we're talking about a few conditions that the committee would like to see. And so if we are, depending on how the committee votes, if we vote at all tonight, those should be expressly stated on the record about what those conditions would be. So compliance with the business plan, there's discussion about cameras, so you can, in our code, it's 9.02 12MB. I'm sorry, C would be the one that you're talking about, so including cameras that would be in compliance with that. There's certain activities you can or cannot restrict. Staffing minimums, there was discussion about how many security staff would be on board, maintaining layouts, and so these are the things that, if you're gonna be making a motion, if there's a motion that would be included with that motion, if it is to approve. And those would be, correct me if I'm wrong, Steve, those would be reflected on the actual license that is issued. Correct, okay.
Yeah, so to that point and a couple others. So are we saying that this camera system would need to be installed before he can open?
It's a condition of the license, correct? If he
Yes.
opens without that, it would be in
So,
violation of that.
I understand the cameras aren't there now, right?
100%, yeah, they're not there.
They're not there now, so you would not be able to open until this camera system,
I'm okay with that.
as you described it, inside and out would be in. I'm looking at your application. Your only two occupations you list are Uber and Lyft. I assume you're an Uber and Lyft driver.
That's what I do, Uber Black, yeah.
Yeah, I know we had discussed in the past, you said you had owned a bar and,
Well, in Green Bay, and then I was bouncer for 20 years, back bar, stuff like that. So I was in.
but the bar in Green Bay never opened?
The thing is that the owner that owned the building didn't want to fix the floor.
Okay,
He
I
have a
understand.
key- yeah.
So
No,
you-
never opened,
So
yeah.
you never really actually have run a bar before?
Yeah.
I'm just going to
Oh,
your
yeah, yeah,
experience.
yeah.
So your related experience is bouncer and back bar.
That's correct, 20 years.
Just,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to see where we're at. And I'm going through your application, and you got 80% alcohol sales, 10% food sales, and 10% entertainment sales, which I assume is either gonna be cover charges or vending or video game
Yeah,
commissions.
stuff like that, yeah.
Whatever, okay. I get
Pool
that.
tables and stuff.
And then you said you're not gonna run a nightclub,
No,
but you, and then this is partially semantics, but you did check the nightclub box on the application. You checked banquet hall, lounge, tavern, and nightclub. Okay, so, and I guess really, what's the difference between a tavern and a nightclub or a lounge? I mean, I don't know what that means, you know.
And that's why I was-
Dancing and music.
I guess, yeah.
I was confused too, but like I
Yeah,
say,
no,
there was,
okay. And then on the type of music you're gonna play rock and country, and you put down pop. And I guess to me, pop is popular music. I mean, you're telling us right now
Yeah.
that you're gonna be drawing an older crowd.
100%.
Well, you're telling us that, and you say you're not gonna play hip-hop,
No, never.
okay? But,
I'm not gonna even have a jukebox.
yeah, well,
No jukebox. All music gonna be controlled by me.
okay, well, see, disc jockey, karaoke, patrons dancing, pool tables, amusement machines, which I assume there's 4 amusement-only machines, or what do they call, instrumental musicians, yeah, no jukebox, and bands, and patron contests. So that's gonna be like trivia night or something?
Well, I'm gonna see if I can do karaoke or trivia.
Well,
but
you put them both down.
yeah, but like I say,
The boxes you checked. Again, I'm gonna get back to the kind of music you play. I've been in the business 40
Sure.
years. We do pick our customers. We pick our customers by what we charge, what we sell, what we tolerate, and the atmosphere we create.
and I'm okay
and-
with that.
I don't see how we're gonna objectively put down, I think when we put down pop music, and we're not gonna send the police in or the city attorney in to make a determination on, is that country? Or is that country rock? Or is that rock? Or is that rock hip hop?
No,
Where,
when I put pop, I was thinking about 80s, 90s disco. But if it's not, then we can take it out because that's exactly what I'm gonna play.
I just don't,
And no, I understand.
I mean, there's some real nervousness here from your
Okay,
neighbors and
and
on the council.
I understand,
About what,
and-
and we're,
And I'm here to work with you guys. If you tell me that the pop is not good, I don't know what pop mean.
well, hopefully,
because
hopefully we're never gonna be in there. And
That's what-
hopefully you're never
well-
gonna be back, but it's gonna be the kind of crowd
Well,
that
I
we
hope
draw
you guys
when it
gonna
happens.
stop by sometime, and I hope you guys
stop
gonna
in.
stop,
Yeah, I'll-
and
I'll
check
be
it
in.
out on me,
I'll be in.
because I want you to guys stop by, and if you see something that you don't like, you have to tell me.
Yeah.
Because I'm that kind of guy. I will work with you.
And we're recording all of this.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
It's up on YouTube
Yeah.
forever. So
Okay, I'm okay with
we're
that.
back here in 3
I'm
months.
okay with that.
Yeah.
I don't want to do anything that is not, the city doesn't like, even building. I'm going to talk with him and the person upstairs, how to do those windows upstairs, because this is another thing that I hate that.
And this was another question I had, was site and landscape.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand there's really no landscape here, but I think there was discussion about a building refresh, some new windows or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And is that something we're gonna say has to be done before he can open? Or are we typically give those kinds of things 6
About a
months?
year, yeah.
Yeah,
6 months or a year?
I will need 6 months, not
I
more.
understand
Yeah.
that. I understand. I think, honestly, I think the camera's important, and they're not $10,000.
100%. I will put that for myself, for my safety. And windows is gonna be clean and fixed before I open, because I will not open my bar with that windows. Color is gonna go on. It's gonna be dark white, closer to match with the siding, because I want building to look nice.
And this all has to go to Plan Commission?
It was at Plan Commission
Was that Plan Commission?
last year, and there were
That's-
some conditions of approval, which were primarily exterior maintenance,
Okay.
some new doors, new windows, so we're brightening things up, repainting.
Okay, and then, and while I'm on it, when are you gonna move in upstairs? Right away?
Soon I open, because those guys upstairs are month to month.
Okay.
So Mario's gonna let them know when we start open, they're gonna move out. And
I'll
then
be honest with you, I like that too, because that's the situation that I have.
100%.
I think when the owner's on the premises and the staff knows the boss is
I'm
upstairs.
gonna be upstairs,
Yes.
I'm gonna have cameras, and everything is gonna be under control.
Okay, Steve, all those things that the planning commission saw, did they see that with that dance club? Or is this,
The former applicant was a dance hall.
right, and that's where they said they're gonna do all those things, and,
Those were the conditions of approval that Plan Commission placed upon that prior applicant, where exterior property maintenance items, repainting, freshening up the exterior, some new windows, just ensuring that the refuse enclosure was, where is it gonna be located? It's off the alley,
Right.
behind the building. just some basics.
So you're saying he has to abide by those? And if he does something different, he's got to go back through the planning commission?
Right, I mean, if he wants to come back in and redo the facade, he would come back to the plan commission.
Have you seen that, those rules that they set up?
Yeah, but we talk about that yellow color that we
Yeah.
have to go. That yellow color nobody like.
Right.
So
Right.
I was thinking
So-
to paint this on a dark, like a
But
closer
you-
to the side.
Yeah, you're familiar with what the planning commission? Okay, that's what the other question I had was, and I bring this up every time someone goes in there, is that I remember years ago, they only allowed up to 100 people, 99 people, all could be there because of fire code. And with the last two gentlemen that came in, they said it was something pretty basic. I talked to the fire department on it, and that basically it was the doors or something. And was that changed yet?
I don't know what they did because when I talked with Mario, that was the problem that those guys didn't want to do some stuff, and Mario say, I told you guys have to fix that, and that's why they walk away, the last guys. So I don't know, and that's why I want inspectors in, so they tell me what they have to be fixed, and I will fix it. Because what they did before, I don't know.
I think there was a little bit more that it had to be done, and they thought that was a function of the landlord, not a function of
Well,
theirs.
they
And so there's a
yeah.
disagreement with Mario on that, and that's what it is. So,
Yeah.
but I don't know, somebody over at the fire department, I mean, they must remember it from last year, what they found out on this. It could be something that was said a long time ago that's now obsolete, I don't know. But if you could check on that maybe and get back to us on that, because I'd hate to do that, so.
His application says 99.
Yeah, there was 99
Good
approved. But like I say, if it's something that I can fix to bring more crowd in, I will do it, there's no problem.
So if this is on his bar plan.
This is on his application, his legal occupancy capacity of the premises is 99, and that would include staff, too. So if
And
you have
so-
a couple bartenders that come.
And so if he goes and it takes fire doors or something, he goes and puts on fire doors, it's on his business plan, he
That would have to
has to
change
come
it.
back to us and change it?
I would say yes,
Yeah.
especially if you make
So
that
you
a
got more
condition
people?
of the permit being issued, is that he's in strict compliance with his plan of operation, then yes.
See,
The doorman's gonna need a clicker.
yeah, well, there's no problem. If I have 100 people in, I'm happy. That's not a problem.
99.
Yeah.
Well,
If you have
about 8 or 90.
Or people will come in and throw somebody out.
Or
Okay,
90.
one second. Okay, and then the other thing was on the better block thing that I commented on the council floor. Stevie, do you have some comments on that, or?
Yeah, well, with the Better Block event, I mean, the main thing, and this particular building was actually called out in the report about opening it up, repainting it, freshening it up, and putting a business within this space. So, I know there's been a history, of course, but Marcus is a new operator. He's looking for a chance, and he is the type of business that a gathering space. One of the things that were important to that area within the Burnham area was gathering spaces, safety, and aesthetics. So, we feel that a business in that location is definitely better than a vacancy. He's a new operator, and hopefully establishes a new precedent, new trend for that corner rather than what we've all experienced in the past.
Okay, and Nick, if he doesn't do it, something changes something like this, and we say you gotta do it, and he doesn't do it, then it goes to someone's complaint, goes through that whole hearing like we have to do to take the license away?
That's the process to take your license
Or-
away, yes.
Okay, so it goes through that same process?
Yes.
Okay, all in one.
And to what Steve Scher said, in that neighborhood, we still have Scardinas sitting empty, and we have the old Colony sitting empty, and the 57 bar is still empty.
Yeah.
So there's some, the Colony and 57 bar both had licenses there at one time. So I think if you look in the last 10 or 15 years, there's actually there's fewer licenses in the neighborhood. So, and there are some big vacancy, empty buildings there that aren't helping. So
Okay, so,
Mr. Chair, if I could.
sure.
There's been discussions about other licenses that might be needed, so I've noted a food permit potentially, and then a dance hall license would also probably be something that would be required at some point. I don't know
I think
We're-
immediately.
if the committee is requiring him to operate along with his plan, then that would be
He needs to have it.
True.
yeah.
And cameras.
And Mr. Chair?
Alderman
It's my understanding that
cameras.
every beverage alcohol establishment in the city needs some level of food permit anyways. I think it has to do with the soda machine and or ice machines or something, from conversations with the previous health commissioner. I'm not sure where we're at.
Hey, Bob? Got a question for you.
No, I already,
Okay.
yeah, I didn't look into that.
Yeah, yeah. There's different levels of food licensing, but yeah, that would, I think a dance hall license would definitely need to be in place also, so.
I thought I applied for one, didn't I?
Alderman
And I
Rowe.
guess why I asked you, like, who drafted this was because you're only mentioned once, and then everything else, you just become the renter, so you're responsible for everything down there, according to Mario.
That's
am.
between him and his
No, I'm
landlord.
just trying to tell you that, I mean, it's mentioned 10 times.
Oh, yeah. The thing is that Mario doesn't want to have nothing to do with that, but he can't sell it, he said, because it's nobody want to buy it. So I say I'm going to rent it out for 4 years, and then I'm going to buy it from you. But I'm going to invest money in and everything, you know? And that's how we talk about that.
Okay. Another question I had, like, let's say, hopefully hopefully it doesn't happen or anything, but 6 months, it's just not working out, and he's gonna be shutting it down. Now, the license is to him, so Mario or anybody else can't take the license.
Correct.
Can he sell, or because he's got a lease, sublease it to somebody else, and they come to us for to transfer the license to them?
They could come to you for a license, but you'd have the same discretion over any license that you
But
have right now.
Is it be the same license, or that license would just end, and we'd have to get a new license?
When somebody applied for that license, the existing license at that time, they wouldn't just get it. This committee would have discretion to say whatever conditions go on it, whatever requirements there might be, it would be like starting anew. There wouldn't be anything that you're required or tied to.
Mr. Chair.
Alderman Rose.
So the subsequent owner would then be coming before us to
Correct.
go over quota.
Yes, I believe so,
Okay.
yes.
No,
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 not over quota,
no.
because he's
Be a
already.
transfer.
It'd
It'd be new existing.
New existing, but it would be the licensing process all over again. Like a new license, right?
but not over quota. No public hearing or anything.
No, because it's a swap.
Okay, does,
But we would, just for clarification, we're granted, if this one's granted, it'd be granted over quota.
By 3.
This will be our third over quarter license,
And the 2 others
Over
were,
self-imposed quota.
or so, close quarter.
2 others were Lapham,
The Lapham and the
Funeral
Reunion.
Home, and the Reunion.
okay. Does the committee feel comfortable on voting on this tonight? Do they feel that we have, that the business plan is adequate, that we can, basically base the license on that plan? Or do we want to hold it for a couple of weeks and figure out, make sure we have everything in there?
I'm Chair.
Pardon me? You're
Mr. Chair?
Alderman Weyer?
I want it understood that he doesn't open until the cameras are in and operating. And is that something then that the building inspector is gonna go? Is it gonna be on his occupancy permit, and he's gonna go in and it's gonna be a checkbox? Oh, let me see the cameras working? Is that, because this is new to us, I
It's gonna be a
think.
condition of his license, and so
Who's gonna check
building
it?
side would, the police department, my take would be.
No, I see a negative nod from the chief.
Perhaps once he's open, but not as a condition of getting open.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, so it'd have to be one of the 5 inspectors that go through the
Building
building.
inspector, I
Yeah,
would
probably the
think.
building
By the
inspector.
electrician.
And,
Yeah, if they're in there anyways, they can check to see if it's in there.
and working cameras.
Yes, I want to, they can't just,
They need to
oh,
record.
there's a camera. No,
No.
you have to show them that it
I
works.
will have everything ready, I promise you that. It's good for me to be, not just for you guys, but good for me also.
Okay. Is there anything else, anyone?
Correct me if I'm wrong, though, briefly. So if the committee votes to approve it, we're approving a license, and there could be conditions that you put on there. And so I guess when I was answering the question about who would find out, is that if the license is issued and the place starts to operate, and the police are gonna go check that out then, and they're gonna be aware at that, no, only if they start to operate, not prior to that point. Prior to that point, it might be building inspection, but my understanding is we're gonna catch, there will be a problem when he starts to operate if if these conditions aren't being met.
Correct.
It's not really a problem prior to that point, he can get up and working if he's not,
Well, but it would be part of the occupancy permit.
That's what I'd like to see these conditions tied to his occupancy.
He can't start operating unless he has an occupancy permit, and if the license are on
Necessary requirements?
an occupancy permit, Yeah.
The city attorney's saying no.
okay.
Please.
So the conditions, the conditions are specifically against the license. And so whether he has the cameras installed prior to opening or after opening, it doesn't really ultimately matter. If he opens day one and the police go in and take a look at what's going on and don't see cameras, the council could revoke the license for that purpose, that reason alone, immediately.
Okay.
But it could be, but the problem, I guess, is if he doesn't install the cameras during the construction phase, at what point in time are you going to say you should have the cameras in? Because there's obviously going to be a delay between tonight and installing the cameras. So the deadline I would prefer would be upon opening. That's the condition for
That's what we're saying.
exercising and using the license. So there's nothing further the community needs to do other than just impose a camera system to the extent that the ordinance allows, must be installed to view the licensed premises. And that is a sufficient restriction.
Installed and operational.
And record for 7 days?
That's what the,
Recorded during open hours.
you can just have it comply with the statute, or our ordinance.
So how long they have to have that saved?
Yeah, that's the question.
Is it 7 days?
7 days.
It says here 7 days. Retain a copy of that video for at least 7 days. There's resolution requirements. Provide copies within 48 hours to any requesting law enforcement officer.
Okay,
Mr. Chair,
Alderman Weigel.
what's your projected timeline on this?
I was hoping to open by 26 March when the Brewers open the game, but this depends because tomorrow I'm gonna go upstairs, if you guys allowed me to open upstairs and apply for the those inspectors to come in, and depends how much work I have to do inside, because I had no idea what they're gonna found.
So, not in your business plan. Are you gonna run shuttles to the Brewer games?
Not sure yet. Didn't I don't. Everybody else do. I'm not fan because if somebody get hurt, I don't want to be
Honest with you,
responsible.
I don't see that in your business plan.
No, because I
And
didn't.
also,
I'm not. It's
I
not.
don't see parking. I mean, that's the one thing we haven't talked about.
Yeah.
And if you run a shuttle bus
Yeah.
with 20 patrons and their cars are parked by you,
Yeah.
and they're not even in your door.
No, I didn't apply for that because I'm not sure
we,
about
we
that
don't
yet.
regulate shuttles here. I don't know that I don't think we were talking about that, but I don't see it in your business plan, so.
I understand, and Browns have the same thing. He have shuttle, but there's no parking. So there's lots of bars that doesn't have
Yeah,
parking.
no, there are.
But I'm not fan of that because the thing is, you go there, you pick up people, they get hurt, they go after you. I'm not a fan of the shuttle.
I just, because you mentioned
Yeah,
brewers,
yeah.
and I don't really see you described as a sports bar. You say you're gonna open 11 a.m.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna have game on, but I'm not gonna be a sports bar. You know what I mean?
Mr. Chair, if we don't want to have, sorry.
Go ahead.
If we don't want to have shuttles, that is under sub F on the new code, you could say licensee may not promote or conduct certain activities. You could say no shuttle or no shuttle service. These are all conditions that you can put on the license. at
Does
the
anybody
time
else
that
care?
we Administer it.
I mean,
Really,
Just
Mr.
giving
Chair, to
options.
be honest with you, the bar nearest to me, that runs a shuttle,
You probably walk to. Yes, yeah.
people in the neighborhood walk to it.
Walk to and take the shuttle. Yeah.
Okay,
So the-
It's a neighborhood service
Yeah.
in some way.
okay, so, but, okay, he has to abide by what the planning commission said before he opens?
I don't know if you can have him, I mean, painting in February or
Yeah,
March may
okay.
not be the best advice, but.
Right. Okay, so you're saying that there's a timeline to do that? Like he was saying, he wants to go upstairs with the windows and stuff. He wouldn't have to do that before he opens?
I mean, unless council wants that to happen, but, I mean, it's something that the plan commission typically gives a little bit more time to comply with some of those things.
Okay, Nick?
But this is all conditions on his license, and so if we're putting a condition on his license, that'd be something that would be, I guess you could, and Kale, correct me if I'm wrong, if they wanna put a timeline on there at this point, I suppose you could do that, but these are licensing conditions, and so if you're approving his license, this would be a condition on his license that he has to be in compliance with, if you make that a condition with the, plan commission, or security cameras, or certain activities to do or not do.
Mr. Chair,
Oh, Nick.
I think safety and development addressed that already in March with the operation, or the plan that went through Plan Commission. It already addresses a timeline that work has to be done. So I don't think we have to add to it. I do think things like the operational
Yes.
insides operational type of stuff.
I agree with you 100%.
That's the stuff I think that we should worry about. Safety and development already took care of your exterior of the building. It's gotta be done within a year, I think, of opening.
I will do before winter.
So we
100%.
won't have that on the,
Oh, March 5.
on the conditions then,
He could apply for
or we will.
It's up to the committee.
No, I don't think I mean,
Well,
I don't want to say June 1, July 1, you know, but we could.
Okay, but, okay, the planning commission, if, let's say a year from now and it's still not done, he's up and operating, still not done, what does the planning commission do?
Well, the Safety and Development Committee can bring them in and do a summons and complaint that way too.
That never happened.
Is that, okay,
But it
that's a process that's done.
We did it.
Okay,
We did it before.
so, because I think, like Steve says, I think it's gonna be tough to get all that planning commission stuff done before his opening date, so.
yeah, well, that's for sure, but I can promise you that before next winter, this building is gonna be like brand new, before
Okay.
next winter.
Okay. Does anybody else have anything?
Mr. Chair, just to clarify too, the licensee should be aware he needs to at least pull a permit and be actively working by March 5th, or this special use permit does expire.
Actively working on the exterior improvements.
With the permit pulled. Either has to be occupying and running that day, which is, it sounds like it's a couple weeks ahead of when he plans on opening. So by that date, he needs to have pulled permits and be actively working on completing those permits.
So special use permits expire after 1 year if it's
Right,
not
and what are
used.
the
You
what
understand
the
it?
permits
Yeah, I
to
You
paint the
understand what he's
building
saying?
Yeah.
or the windows?
That's the tricky part about this provision, the special use permit, is that if a building doesn't need a permit for whatever work's happening, then he has to get up and running and operating in order to prevent it from expiring. The alternative is there is
Pull
an
your
option.
permits.
There is an option for him to ask
what?
for an extension.
Yeah.
To that 12-month restriction, so he could ask for that as well.
Because that wasn't even an application he made, that was the previous.
Before, yeah.
Correct.
But he's subject to it.
Right. Well, so you understand, it's up to you to get permits. I don't know what you don't need a permit to paint your building or anything like that, but then,
But I mean, if there were some larger facade, expanding windows or adding doors, that would all require a permit.
And you can pull a
okay.
permit.
So either
sit
pull a
on it for
permit
little bit.
You could
or
pull a permit just for painting though.
send a letter requesting for an extension. Okay? Any other questions? Okay, do I have a motion on this?
I move for approval, well, both subject to necessary requirements and with the additional requirement of strict adherence to the plan as we have in our packet, the plan of operation. And in addition to that, it's already in the plan, but that security cameras are in operation prior to opening.
With those security, the motion, would that be in compliance with 9.0212MC?
Yes.
Second, second.
Yeah.
Okay, all in May seconds.
You're right.
Okay, do we have any further discussion on this? Now, this is voting to approve the license over quota. I mean, he's getting the license, but we are going over quota. Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
No.
Okay. Motion carries, it goes to the full council, and that will go on tonight. Okay? That's it.
So,
Okay.
so then what is my next step then?
You don't want to wait, if you have time, wait for the rest of the meeting tonight. Because the other 5 members of the council will be voting on it with
Okay.
us all together later this
Okay,
year.
so probably another half hour or something?
No
Whatever.
promises.
Okay.
Okay.
I hope for two.
I just want to make sure because tomorrow I want to do next step and get those inspectors in on the building if you guys approve.
It'll be worth your while to stick around.
Okay, cool, thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna hold on number 47, we're gonna go to 49. This is just basically a new agent. No, new existing. Okay, was that Haas?
Yeah.
Second.
Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Then we have a number 50 from Natty Oaks, schedule for successor.
Move approval.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Then we have various license applications in 51. These are
This is
ones,
the clean list or the list
Yeah.
we passed? Yeah, move approval.
Second.
we're gonna get to the Haas. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And it's carried. Now we have number 47, which is a resolution to approve transfer of one Class B license to the Village of Hales Corners.
So, Mr. Chair, I'll let you
Alderman
go
Haas.
first. You let, Mr. Chair, you should go first. You were about to say something and I cut you off.
No, you didn't. Just go ahead.
Well, all right. Well, Mr. Chair, in our last meeting, we discussed this. I was one saying, hey, let's talk about this. Let's try and be a good neighbor. But I think we're voting to go over quota just now, our self-imposed quota. I don't want to hamstring or handcuff future councils if we are pushing up to that state-imposed quota, which we can't go over in the future. I have reservations in thinking about this now, about transferring this license.
Okay,
So I flipped is my
Okay.
point,
So
Mr.
you-
Chair.
okay. Does anybody else have any
Mr.
comments? Alderman May.
I'm just curious to know what was the amount that was.
That's what I was just gonna say.
We didn't come up with an amount.
We
We
never came up with an
we would have to come up with an amount.
I swear I saw someone sent an email with the dollar amount.
Yeah,
Yes,
Rebecca
there was
did.
something, there was something.
There was some
Go ahead.
math.
Mr. Chair, the email that I sent was to do with the revenue that would have gone to Hales Corners versus
That we would have
the
lost.
city. That's about $4,000 a year. So for 25 years, that would equal like 100,000. So that's what the amount.
Okay. Anybody else? I just kept, as far as I was concerned, I just kept asking myself, why would we do this?
Yeah.
Just to be good neighbors? And that's the only thing. And, I don't know.
Mr. Chair,
Alderman Wagon?
I don't think we could put a price on this that would be, we talk about development. We got 80 acres sitting over here undeveloped that sometime in the future might, the Milwaukee Mile.
Oh.
That might need a couple liquor houses.
80, we got 80.
Hey, we laugh,
We do.
but come on.
We laugh,
Yeah.
Keep an open mind.
Looking at Highway 100 and all this other stuff. Yeah, I mean, Alderman Barzak brought it up on the floor earlier tonight. Yeah, why? We're pulling teeth to go over quota here and conceivably for $10,000 hamstring ourselves or future councils.
Okay, so do I have a motion?
Place on file.
Second.
Do we want to place on a file or do you want to disapprove?
That works.
Was it a resolution? Oh, it was a resolution.
Yes.
Proper way to do it is either place on file or to postpone indefinitely, which kills her.
That's not on the list there,
Just
Steve.
file.
Just file.
There's no box, there's no box on here.
That's right.
I checked the
My original
boxes.
motion.
On
Is
file, I'll
appropriate.
second
I
this.
still,
Okay, it's
Oh,
to
you got-
place on file?
You got it.
Yeah.
Alderman Haas made the motion?
Mine did it.
And who seconded that motion?
I did, and Alderman May. You can take
Okay,
your pick.
Alderman May.
One of us gets the third.
Oh,
I'll be the third.
who made the motion?
Pun intended.
Alderman Weigel.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Okay.
Is there any further discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. And,
Oh, with a joint?
no, nobody else here, so,
Move we adjourn.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.